Welcome to Massive Late Fee. And now your hosts, Mark and Carol. Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to Massive Late Fee. My name is Mark. With me, as always, is my wife, Carol. How you doing today, Carol?
Hey, what's up?
Not much. It's been a good week here. It is June 11th, 1999. Carol. So, we have a few things to talk about today. Mel Torme died.
Who's that?
A singer. The Velvet Fog. Harry Stone on Night Court loved him. That's mostly what I know him from.
Okay. Sorry, I'm
Is
not
being
familiar.
Harry Stone's favorite singer, but yeah, he died at 73, so, you know.
Good long life.
Decent innings, I guess. But if anyone wants to know if they're related to Mel Torme, I guess the internet, this is from PC at Home, the internet is a new boon for genealogy.
Sure, that would make sense.
Family trees take roots on computers. The phenomenon is large enough to be featured in a Time magazine cover story in April. It's being fueled in large part by the tools of the digital age, PCs, software programs, and the internet. Since biblical times, people have been tracing their family trees in what traditionally has been a tedious and time-consuming process, but the PC has streamlined the practice. A genealogical study used to be an organizational nightmare of boxes spilling over with documents, photographs, and mementos, but now a PC can serve as a central storehouse for data in its various forms. What do you think? Does this make you more interested in exploring your Alex Haley-like roots?
I don't know anything about Alex Haley, but I think genealogy is cool.
He wrote Roots.
I think that would be really cool, especially like if you're doing it on the computer. Like, can you like connect your family tree?
I don't know. That's an issue. Like, if other people are also researching their family trees,
Right.
Interesting. Maybe you could. Yeah, I don't know if there's a program out there that allows for that yet or not, but that would be interesting for sure if it was possible.
I know my siblings are very into genealogy.
My aunt is one of the said people with boxes, or well, she's passed now, but one of the said people with boxes and of information and everything. She did a lot of work and she's actually my mom's aunt, so my great aunt. But she traced our family back on my mom's side, so that one particular side of the family, back to the Netherlands. That's Dutch, right?
I think so.
Yeah, because we're Dutch. I mean, Dutch. We're Dutch and German mostly. A couple other things too, but on my mom's side, that's mostly what we are. So, yeah, interesting stuff. This would have been huge for her. She passed away a few years ago, but would have been a big thing for her. But we have a lot of information, and I assume that people in my family who have, have possession of the boxes and everything will maybe upload to the internet, and then we can compare notes with other people.
That would be cool.
See who we're related to. But speaking of relations, Tommy Lee and Pamela Anderson are having relations again. Mm-hmm. They're back together, and apparently into real estate.
Okay.
Knee deep in real estate dealings is that fun California couple, the recently reconciled Pamela Anderson Lee and Tommy Lee. In April, when the two were steaming towards a divorce, they put their Malibu Hills digs on the market for $1.55 million. Well, despite their reunited and it feels so good move last month, they have decided to continue trying to unload the 7,400 square foot house for a more child-friendly home with fewer stairs.
Okay.
Whoa, multiple listings. Pam now hopes to unload the Malibu condo she bought in 1984. That one, asking price $395,000, is even less in keeping with her status as the mother of two young children. It has a shower that resembles a waterfall and hardwood floors embedded with abalone shells.
Oh, wow.
Or abalone shell, I don't know how to pronounce it. But, fuck, I I wish I had an extra couple $1,000,000.
Right?
I think I would. I feel like those are good investments. Those houses. They seem like not super expensive.
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you think about Tommy Lee and Pamela Anderson back together
I feel sorry for her.
after the sex tape and all that stuff?
I mean, truly, like, I don't know. I just feel sorry for her.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to last. But you know, hopefully, I guess for them and their children's sake, like, you know.
I mean, yeah, you can make it work. Go ahead, I guess.
But speaking of making it work, are we going to be able to make a sequel to Silence of the Lambs work? There may not be any midnight sales. There's been one magazine cover, and fast food tie-ins are probably out of the question. Nevertheless, the book world's equivalent of Star Wars Episode 1 arrives Tuesday with the publication of Hannibal. It took reclusive author Thomas Harris a decade to produce a sequel to The Silence of the Lambs, the almost too scary to read novel about a brilliant psychotic serial killer with a propensity for eating the evidence and the novice female FBI agent given the impossible job of trying to outsmart him.
Hello, Clarice.
But it has taken publisher Delacorte less than 2 months to get Harris's nearly 500-page manuscript to market.
Wow.
The first printing is 1.3 million copies, and pre-orders capitulated it to,
Capitulated? Catapulted?
Yes, catapulted it to number 2 on Amazon.com's bestseller list a week before it was on the shelves.
Wow.
Obviously, President Clinton is right. We consume too much violence as entertainment in this culture, and we need to cut back as soon as we all finish reading Hannibal. But here's the thing. It says a reunion looks unlikely. But here's a little advice. While you're reading, you might want to avoid imagining the film version, which would probably be the most eagerly awaited sequel since you know what. I guess the Star Wars one?
Yeah.
Because unless something dramatic happens, Hollywood is about to cannibalize itself. For years, it has been a given that the team that turned 1991's The Silence of the Lambs into that rarest of all movie events, an artful, literate spine-tingler, would reunite for a sequel. After all, director Jonathan Demme, screenwriter Ted Talley, and Jodie Foster and Anthony Hopkins, who played FBI agent Clarice Starling and Hannibal Lecter, respectively, all won Oscars, and the movie was named Best Picture. All have expressed enthusiasm about doing it again. Today, though, the reunion seems about as likely as a Beatles tour. Wow, a lot of them are dead. Well, one of them's dead. First, Demme pulled out of the project, ostensibly because he found Harris's story, which has one of Hannibal's earlier victims manipulating Agent Starling to bring the doctor out of hiding, too violent. But according to online magazine Salon, Demme's real issue is that he was left out of the deal-making that gave the rights to make the film to producer Dino De Laurentiis, who has some legal claim to the characters and who could have tied the project up in court for years. So that's interesting. So it seems like, I'd be interested to see it, but if Jonathan Demme's not coming back to direct it, and Jodie Foster's not going to be in it, they have to at least get Anthony Hopkins, I would think. If you don't get Anthony Hopkins as Hannibal in a movie called Hannibal,
right,
then I don't think that works.
Yeah, it's not worth it for sure.
What do you think?
I agree. They definitely need like the core pieces to make it work.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I assume they will make a movie out of it.
I do want to read Hannibal.
Oh yeah, I've read the other two. The what the fuck was it called? Manhunter and Silence of the Lambs. So.
Yeah.
What about covenant marriages?
What now?
Carol. This is a type of thing, this caught my eye. This is the type of thing we don't typically cover because it's not really entertainment in any way. But I don't know. I wanted to get your take on this. Conservatives believe it will help combat the nation's divorce culture. So, covenant marriage, a legal experiment that began 2 years ago in Louisiana in response to high divorce rates, has spawned a national movement that would make it harder to enter and exit marriage. Most of the proposals would require couples who opt for a covenant marriage to receive premarital counseling and would prohibit a quick divorce except in cases where there is proof of adultery, abandonment, or abuse, or a spouse is imprisoned. Otherwise, couples must separate for at least 2 years while receiving marriage counseling before they can get a divorce. What do you think about this?
I think the government should stay out of people's marriages. I don't really think that we need to put like laws in place to prevent people from.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think it's funny because conservatives are supposed to be, not to get political, everyone, but conservatives are supposed to be the party of small government. Mm-hmm. And this is not a small government proposal. Also, it's, interesting, I think, to note that the champion of no-fault divorce was Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
The arch-conservative who went through a divorce of his own from Jane Wyland, later of Falcon Crest fame. But he championed it in California and then later in the White House because, it's like sometimes marriages just don't work and it's okay. That's okay if marriages don't work.
Agreed.
I do think that sometimes people give up too quickly. And you have to make a decision every day to want to be with the person and everything, even if it's not a conscious decision. It's just, you're in this marriage, right? And I think, you and I think, have a very new but still successful marriage.
Yeah. And
I don't know, we could give advice at some point if anyone ever wants that. That's not for this show. But yeah, I don't know. It's weird to me that they're proposing these laws.
Yeah, I don't like it, truly. I just think that's something way too personal to involve the government in.
Agreed. But before we get to the movie, Carol, speaking of way too personal, I don't know. What about this?
Hey, ladies, are you looking to level up your man's summer grooming game? Well, look no further than our friends at Manscaped. Get him ready to flaunt that beach body with the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra, the secret sauce for that perfect beach babe look. With our exclusive offer,
secret sauce.
yeah, he does. Visit manscaped.com, use code LATEFEE20.
Yes, you got it.
All right. And enjoy 20% off plus free shipping. Mm-hmm. Don't let him be the only one at the beach missing out on smooth sack summer. Show him some love and upgrade his grooming routine with Manscaped. Okay, ladies. I got to tell you, we were gifted some of these products. Mm-hmm. And they're amazing. Your ad copy it's kind of or just mine leveled up our game. Only ever hear mine. They didn't even say to say this, but I've used it too, and it works well for me too. So ladies can use this.
It makes your clitoris look larger too.
Dear Lord, why would you say that? Oh my God! Now I'm never going to use it again.
No, I'm just joking. No, I'm just joking.
I'm traumatized.
Do you know how they say if you shave a guy for shaves, that it makes his penis longer?
Yes, I know the joke.
It was a joke based on that. It's not real, ladies.
But anyway, they've got this nice deodorant stuff that makes it smell good, and they even have other products for the nose trimming and
nose trimming, ear trimming.
Ladies, you might use that stuff too.
Yeah, so I have a veritable forest.
Not anymore.
No,
it's all gone now.
It's a barren wasteland.
It's a nice even meadow.
Now it looks like McDonald's went through there and leveled and slashed and burned the whole thing.
Oh my God!
So they can have cow farms or whatever they do to the Brazilian rainforest.
Wow. Okay. So get 20% off and free shipping with code LATEFEE20.
Yes.
At manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with the code LATEFEE20 at manscaped.com. Mm-hmm. Trust me, ladies, it's a gift for you before it's a gift for him.
So, Carol, how about recreating a scene from Notting Hill? Julia Roberts sat down to dinner in New York with a group of friends who had no idea a famous Hollywood star was joining them. Things got weird, though, when one guest didn't recognize her. Set up by Marie Claire magazine for an article in its July issue, the dinner party mirrored one in the movie that features Roberts as a movie star dating a London bookstore owner, except for a woman who had no idea who the guest of honor was. "And what do you do for a living?" she asked Roberts. "I'm an actress," Roberts replied. "Anything I might have seen?" the woman went on. "How about Pretty Woman?" Robert answered. Suddenly it dawned on the questioner who she was talking to. "She's not very good with faces," the woman's fiancé said to Robert. "Please don't take it personally." Roberts didn't. "Why is it so weird that somebody didn't recognize me?" Roberts said later. I guess that's true. I feel like that is hilarious because it's exactly what happens in the movie. But I feel sometimes like you see somebody on the big screen or whatever, and they have this image and aura and stuff like that, and they're on the big screen and whatever, all made up and stuff like that. If you see them in real life, I feel like there's a possibility you might not recognize some people. Yeah,
for sure.
Especially if you don't watch a lot. Like if you didn't watch a lot of Julia Roberts movies, there are definitely actors and actresses that have been in a lot of things that I wouldn't recognize walking the streets.
Yeah,
I mean, I'd recognize Julia Roberts probably, but not. There's a lot of them I wouldn't.
Yeah, like I definitely recognize like Meg Ryan, Tom Hanks, but yeah.
What about Ahmed Best? Would you recognize him?
No. Who the hell is that?
The man behind the mask of the new Star Wars character Jar Jar Binks.
Well, yeah, no, none of us would recognize him.
He, unfortunately, I don't think he should get hate for how bad that stupid character is.
No, it's not his fault.
Yeah, it's the writing and a lot of the stuff, but his portrayal, I think, like the physicality of it, I think is good.
Yeah.
Jar Jar, let's see, he feels like he came to the scene-stealing role from a galaxy far, far away. Before Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, Best's only film experience was working as an extra in Lean On Me. Quote, "I kept waiting every day for somebody to say, 'Excuse me, you're not supposed to be here,'" Best says in the June 24th issue of Rolling Stone. So he has imposter syndrome, I guess, for being Jar Jar Binks.
That's sad.
But speaking of imposter syndrome, Carol, I think Mike Myers maybe should have some imposter syndrome for being a good comedy writer. Or whatever he did in this movie.
Yeah.
So we saw Austin Powers 2, The Spy Who Shagged Me. Even though they didn't shag, I guess, till the end of the movie.
I'm sorry, I don't remember who he shagged. But
what's it? Felicity Shagwell.
Right.
Played by Heather Graham, who we saw in a much better movie, Boogie Nights. I saw much more of her in Boogie Nights.
Right. I don't understand why this movie is like popular.
It's super successful too.
I hate it so much. Like so much.
To be fair, we didn't like the first one that much.
No, we only sat through this bullshit for you people.
I think the first one looks like Citizen Kane next to this one.
Yeah.
So here is my main problem with this. This is what I think. Now, this is getting some good reviews, too. I mean, and there are a couple funny things in here. Humor is subjective. It's hard to do a comedy. This is not going to be a huge, deep dive, like, long episode. Like when we did Casino or something like that.
Right.
Because there are only so many ways that we can say we just didn't think it was funny. And you might think it's funny. Humor is very subjective. So I wouldn't take this review and say, "Oh, movie sucks," because you might love it. Because, like I said, humor is very individualistic. But this is my main technical problem with the movie. The movie's absurd.
Yeah.
Like there's a time travel element to the movie that plays a major role in the movie. And they hand wave it away. They put a lampshade on it at one point in the movie, which is fine because it's a comedy. Where he's like, "Oh, but what about this? What about this? Oh my God, I'm going cross-eyed or whatever." Mm-hmm. And he's like, "I would just relax and enjoy it and not think about those sorts of things." And then he looks right at the camera and says, "And that goes for you all too." And I thought that was kind of funny,
right?
But my main problem with this is there are so many weird elements going on here, and all the humor is very silly and very absurdist. When you have a movie like that, you have the underpinning of the movie, the plot of the movie, has to be rock solid. It has to be rock solid, and it has to be very clear. A clear A, B, C plot. You can't have a weird layered, like, this is a complicated plot to think about. It can't be like fucking Seven or something like that. You know, you have to have just very clear lines, because you have to have that grounding of reality and everything, so that your silly elements can be allowed to play, so that we have some solid ground to stand on and we can indulge in that. This movie's plot is just all the fuck over the place. It's not like the first movie has a very clear plot. Here's a threat from the 60s. He's back all of a sudden. We need the guy from the 60s. It's Demolition Man.
Sure.
Essentially, in comedy version. And it's like very clear plot. Bad guy, good guy. It's a James Bond parody. Very clear plot-wise. This is just like, I've lost my mojo. What's my mojo? It's a weird, like ethereal thing, but also a liquid that you can pull out of.
It's
ridiculous. Like, just the whole thing is so fucking weird that it doesn't. If you're gonna make a plot this weird, that's fine. But then the jokes have to be like British humor usually is, restrained, dry, witty. Like, if you did this weird plot with like very deadpan jokes, then you have like an Airplane type like movie, and that works too. But you can't have this silly off the wall jokes with this silly off the wall premise. Then everything just becomes chaos, and it all feels like just scene after scene that are not super connected to each other. That's just like, wouldn't it be Mike Myers thinking, wouldn't it be funny if I dressed up in a fat suit and made fun of fat people and called myself Fat Bastard and said I ate a baby and did a Scottish accent while doing it? Because I have Scottish heritage and I like doing a Scottish accent. It's like, that was better in So I Married an Axe Murderer. Here's a little Scottish accent thing.
I honestly didn't realize that was Mike Myers in the fat suit.
It is, yeah.
I didn't realize he was Fat Bastard.
He plays Dr. Evil. He plays fucking whatever. Mike, the fuck's his name? Austin Powers. That's the name of the movie. And Fat Bastard. He also played Felicity Shagwell.
No, he didn't. How about Mini-Me?
An actor named Vern Troyer. Obviously a diminutive person. They found a bald, short person and dressed him up like Mike Myers' version of Dr. Evil.
Okay.
It's fine, I guess. It's like the barest whisper of a joke. Like, it's like, oh, okay, you have a mini version, Mini-Me. That's funny, I guess, to call him Mini-Me. And he gets into situations where his size plays a role, where like he gets launched out of his chair at one point. Most of the time he acts like a feral cat.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I'd be offended by it if I were a little person.
It's not. I don't think they're making fun of him being a little person per se, but it's a weird, not like his character's completely like non-verbal. He has no speaking lines.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
And like Fat Bastard the whole time, it's baby in my tummy, the baby in my
Get in my
what
belly.
The fuck?
Get in my belly, baby. I'm high in the food chain. Yeah, I get it. I understand.
It's disgusting. The whole thing, I hate it.
This is not our type of humor. There's lots of not. I don't know if I'd say lots, but there's at least a few scenes of potty humor in here, and I don't like it. This also fails, to me, in a way a lot of sequels fail, where it's a lot of the same shit over and over, like from the last movie. Like, they bring back Will Ferrell's character, who's in the past. I thought he died in the future. I don't know, it doesn't make any sense, but it doesn't matter to me, whatever. But they bring his character back, and he falls down again, and he's like, I'm very badly injured, and let me like all that stuff, and it's the same thing but that was kind of funny in the first one. It's like a parody of like the whatever, the henchman gets thrown off a cliff or whatever, and it's like, oh, I guess he died or whatever, and it's him like, I'm not dead, I'm just like, that was funny in the first one, but it's just the same thing in this one. It's the same joke done again. It's like, I don't like, and the whole zip thing, that's just the shh from the first movie, where Scott Evil, played by Seth Green from a much better project, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, is trying to talk, and he's like, shh, Scott, let me give you some shh, or whatever, and like he does all the jokes or whatever, right? And this one, it's like, zip. When a problem comes along, you must zip it, and stuff like that. And he's just, it's the same joke.
Yeah.
That's not funny.
And they way underutilize Seth Green in the movie. Like, I mean, like, he's just a piece of prop, basically. Like, he barely does or says anything.
Right, exactly. He is actually handled by the prop department. I hear he's very short. You can't really see on screen, but yeah, I just like, and then they like we discover that Frau Farbissina is his mom and stuff like that, and it's like, okay, whatever. I mean, Back to the Future has a time travel plot where it's like it makes sense. Like everything makes sense in the movie. This is just, I don't know what the fuck this is. It's a mess. It's a mess of a movie.
Honestly, they lost me in the fucking opening of the movie. Like, the opening of the movie was awful. Where he's, like, walking around naked and all furry, like he's wearing a fucking carpet.
Again, and that's a joke from the first movie. Mm-hmm. They bring back.
Yeah, it's just... They
bring back stupid. Elizabeth Hurley to look beautiful and to be in one scene where it reveals that she's a fembot, like from the first movie, the whole time. And that it doesn't make any sense why she would be, and whatever. But that was one of the funniest jokes to me in the entire movie. He's like, after he's like, she's exploded and everything, he's driving he's like, I'm single again or whatever, and then he's driving in his car. This is after the opening credits of him being naked, and Michael York comes on, his little like M or Q or whatever, and he's like, Nigel, it turns out she was a fembot the entire time, and he's like, yeah, sadly we knew the whole time. It's like, it doesn't make any sense, but I thought that was funny. And that's the kind of like understated humor, like reserved kind of like dry humor, that a movie that's this ridiculous, that's why it works. Mm-hmm. It's the juxtaposition of those things, and I wish the movie was filled with more of that. Not potty humor, but just, if it was crazy like this with just dry, understated humor, I think it'd be a much better movie.
Yeah, agreed.
But yeah, what else happens in this movie that's like of note?
The giant penis and testicle shaped spaceship. Yeah. The big boy spaceship. Like, why? Why do we have to have those?
Yeah, That was sort of funny, I guess, where they're like, it looks like a giant Johnson. And they're like, Private Johnson, like whatever. It looks like a Wang. What are you doing? Like, where they're going back and forth. That was okay. That was kind of funny. That was the other thing that, like, sort of made me chuckle. But this is... I don't even know, like, what is the basis of this? I know it's a James Bond parody, although it might have more in common with, like, the Matt Helm films that Dean Martin did in the 60s, which were like a James Bond parody. But, like, I just don't understand what the inspiration for this is. Why do people like this?
Could not tell you.
I don't know. Obviously it's not a recommend for me.
No.
I really don't have anything else to say about the movie. Do you?
No, just I hated it. Don't waste your time, but I'm sure you will because there are people walking around all over the place being like, I lost my mojo and baby get in my belly.
Yeah, so, baby, shagadelic.
Am I sexy? Don't be one of those people. That's what I have to say. Don't do it.
It's not like...
Do I make you horny, baby? Ooh.
I don't like any of it.
No.
I don't like people quoting this movie like that. I didn't like it when The Mask, which is another terrible movie, came out and people were like, smoking and shit like that. Like, it's not funny.
No.
It's not funny to say a line that you think is funny from another movie. That's not comedy, people.
Don't do it.
I don't know. Like I said, I have to say, I wouldn't even see it.
Nope.
Don't wait for it to come to video. Just, there's nothing here you need to see. There's nothing good about it, really, to me. Mike Myers, I generally find funny. I like a lot of the stuff he does. I like Wayne's World. As I said, I liked So I Married an Axe Murderer. I think it's a great movie. I think he does good work a lot of times, and I think he's funny a lot of times. I think this is like the base of like his humor, like the basement, like the absolute dregs of it, of his type of humor, and I think he's better than this, honestly.
Yeah, well, he needs to show it.
And again, this is just a pale imitation of the first movie, not as good and not as well structured, but. That is the episode for the week. Carol, tell people where they can find a spaceship that looks like a penis.
You can write us at latefee1994@AOL.com. Mm-hmm. Check out our website at www.retrolatefee.com.
Yep.
And share the tapes with your friends.
All right, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.